Let's begin the module, Legal and Financial Aspects of Transition. This is the 5th of 10 modules in the course. By the end of this module, you will be able to list legal rights and responsibilities conferred at age 18, describe programs that address legal and financial needs, and address legal and financial considerations in transition plans. Reviewing coming rights and responsibilities reinforces the need to prepare for transition. When an adolescent turns age 18, he or she gains their legal rights as an adult. The 18-year-old also gains new responsibilities. These include obligations to the government, such as jury duty, and to financial agreements, such as debt repayment. All rights previously accorded to parents under IDEA transfer to the student upon their 18th birthday. Students also gain medical rights immediately and automatically on their 18th birthday. Parents have no right to make medical decisions on behalf of their adult child. Healthcare professionals cannot provide medical information to parents without prior written authorization from the patient. HIPAA imposes severe penalties for inappropriate sharing of personal health information. The Florida Bar Association provides a pamphlet for young adults about their new legal rights and responsibilities. It is available in full on their website to view or to download as a PDF. The next 3 sections present ways to address legal and financial considerations. The first program is Florida's Department of Vocational Rehabilitation Program, or VR. VR's mission is to help people with disabilities find and maintain employment and enhance their independence. They administer several programs to achieve this goal. VR's School to Work Transition program offers a number of activities that prepare students for training and/or work after they leave high school. Anyone can refer a student for VR services by calling the numbers on the screen. Students without an IEP may be eligible for VR services. Complete the referral around the student's 16th birthday. Florida VR operates under a prioritization methodology called the Order of Selection. Federal rules require that when a program cannot serve every eligible individual, it must prioritize services to those with the most significant barriers. It is important to apply despite the waiting list. People are released from the waiting list according to their application date. The sooner applied, the sooner received. The Florida HATS Transition to Go fact sheet on VR provides a 1-page summary of this module's vocational rehab section. It also includes links to various VR programs, applications, and eligibility information. Provide the student with this tool as part of their transition plan. The issue of decision-making capacity is a complicated one. Acknowledge the emotional difficulty that families face during such proceedings. This section of the presentation provides concrete information for the informal and formal supported decision-making options. Decision-making consists of these 3 key abilities. Each of the following activities demonstrate the 3 key abilities required to make a decision. Completing an application for a high-interest credit card, asking a friend to help you move, or starting a new prescription without reading about the side effects. Recall from Module 2 that complex problem-solving and decision-making capacity emerge during middle adolescence. As an educator, you are familiar with many theories of cognitive development, such as Piaget's stages. Common among these theories is that decision-making capacity develops gradually throughout adolescence and into early adulthood. Signs of increasing capacity include understanding cause and effect, forming goals, and using rational thought. Like all of the other skills discussed in this course, decision-making skills can be taught using the gradual release of responsibility model. All students would benefit from modeling, explicit demonstration, and supervised practice when it comes to making legal and financial decisions. There are a range of decision-making supports available based on students' abilities and needs. 4 types of supports will be discussed: creating an informal support network, designating a healthcare surrogate, guardianship, and guardian advocacy. For some students, informal supports may be sufficient. Consider using a network of family, friends, and social services providers. This network provides guidance and advice as the student navigates complex decisions. The student retains all medical, financial, and legal rights and responsibilities. Therefore, privacy laws still apply. Consider the wide variety of informal support options. This offers a greater range of individualized supports that maximize the student's existing abilities and allow for more development with age. Other students may require more formalized decision-making support. A healthcare surrogate designation is a document in which the student identifies another adult to make their medical decisions. Many physicians prefer a designation of healthcare surrogate over guardianship because the document is limited to one aspect of life. A healthcare surrogate has no authority to act until such time as the attending physician determines the individual lacks the capacity to make informed healthcare decisions. This may be a temporary or an ongoing state. Upon receipt of the document, physicians must comply with the healthcare surrogate's instructions. Medical providers may request a second opinion to confirm the patient's capacity to make decisions. Guide students to identify key aspects in the healthcare surrogate process. These include who will serve as the surrogate, under what circumstances surrogacy will be in effect, where the student will store documentation, when new providers will be informed of surrogacy, and how the surrogate will be notified of medical emergencies. Have any of your students completed the process to assign a healthcare surrogate? How aware of the process were you? Take a moment to consider these questions. The presentation will automatically resume in 1 minute. Guardianship is a legal, rather than medical, determination that an adult is unable to make decisions independently. Guardianship includes identification of the guardian and the parameters of their responsibility. Many people describe guardianship as a civil death. In the U.S., wards have fewer rights than prisoners. Perhaps the best way to understand the circumstances of an adult who has a guardian is to imagine the rights of an adult woman in the 1600s and 1700s. While guardianship is an important protection for people who truly lack decision-making capacity, the full weight of this designation cannot be understated. Guardians gain the right to make all legal, financial, and medical decisions for their ward. Guardianship is not a temporary state. Once in place, it is virtually always maintained for life. Consider what your student will be like in middle age. No matter how else they change over their lifetime, they will still be incompetent in the eyes of the law. These are the basic steps of the guardianship process. Note that anyone can file an application. It is not limited to parents or family members. During guardianship proceedings, the judge determines competence and need for guardianship. The physician's role is to communicate assessment results, medical opinion, and supporting records. The physician assesses the student's ability to comprehend that a decision must be made, make a plan based on that decision, and execute the plan. If school staff files the petition, they may be called to testify. Regardless of who files, school documents may be subpoenaed. Be prepared to demonstrate alternatives to guardianship that have been attempted and why they are not sufficient. Potential guardians fill out their own application to serve in this capacity and submit it to the court. The application process includes a criminal and financial background checks. Frequently, the appointed guardian is a parent, childhood caregiver, sibling, or other family member. A trusted friend can also serve in this role. If there is no individual in the ward's life to serve as guardian, then a public agency or state guardian will be assigned. People with developmental or intellectual disabilities have an additional option, guardian advocacy. To use this option, the student's disability must begin before age 18 and impair his or her decision-making abilities. Like guardianship, this process includes filing a petition with probate court, notice to the student, and a hearing. The main difference is that this process does not include declaring the ward legally incompetent. Guardian advocacy is specifically designated for people with intellectual or developmental disabilities. Unlike full guardianship, the court automatically appoints an attorney with expertise in special needs law to represent the student's interests. This process also offers more opportunities to waive fees. The Florida HATS Transition to Go fact sheet on guardianship provides a one-page summary of this module's guardianship section. It also includes links to legal resources and service providers. Use this tool to introduce the topic with parents and caregivers or in the student's transition plan. There are many facets to financial support and independence during transition. The next few slides introduce programs through the Social Security Administration. SSI is a need-based program for children and adults with disabilities. Its benefits include monthly income and Medicaid coverage. People who may be eligible for SSI include children under 18 whose parents meet the SSI income guidelines, adults who meet medical requirements but do not meet SSDI work history requirements, adults who meet the medical requirements for SSI and receive an SSDI benefit payment that is less than the SSI payment in their home state. SSDI is a need-based program for disabled adults. Its benefits include monthly income and Medicare coverage. Typically, SSDI pays benefits to workers who became disabled as adults. Workers pay into the program with every paycheck. The SSDI program also pays benefits to adults who have had a disability that began before they became 22 years old. Their benefits are paid on the parent's Social Security earnings record. Children and adults with the same condition face different medical requirements. Unlike SSDI for children, when adults file for SSDI, they must prove that they could not complete essential tasks for any job. If the student already receives SSI, then SSA reviews their medical condition when they turn 18. Conversely, if the student was ineligible for child benefits due to parents' income, then they may become eligible after their 18th birthday. This booklet provides information on obtaining and maintaining Social Security benefits for children. Pages 10 through 15 specifically focus on the required steps for applying for benefits when the student transitions to adulthood. Applications for Social Security disability benefits are filed with Social Security. Application for benefits under the Medically Needy program are made at a local office of the Department of Children and Families. For both programs, the application is forwarded to the Division of Disability Determinations to review medical eligibility. The claim is then returned to either the Social Security Administration or the Department of Children and Families for a final determination of eligibility. Disability Determination Services will likely interview parents and review documentation. Parents may provide information on medical condition, dates of medical appointments, hospitalizations, releases of information to specific providers, copies of medical reports, or information from their own records. Determination Services or Social Security may independently contact healthcare providers, teachers, daycare providers, or other family members. They may also request school and medical records. Their goal is to gather information about how the student's disability affects the activities of daily living. Like guardianship, the physician's role is not to make determination, but to provide medical opinion, assessment, and records. A diagnosis alone is not enough information to verify the student's functional capacity. Determination Services, Social Security, or the family may request documentation from their providers that demonstrates how specific symptoms affect day-to-day tasks. It is important to know that students, their guardians, disability determination services, or Social Security may request evidence to verify the disability claim. This may include IHP, 504, or IEP records, academic performance records, or testimony from school staff. Keep in mind that this process uses a deficit model and requires not only a diagnosis, but functional limitations. Discussions using a strengths-based approach would be misleading in this context. The final stage of adolescent development is interdependence. This is true for all students. For some students, this will include personal care attendants to carry out physical tasks. For others, it will include a healthcare surrogate or guardian who supervises medical care. For many, it will include the support of their parents, caregivers, siblings, and friends. Recall the 8 steps of the transition process. Addressing legal and financial considerations is a key part of the final 3 steps in the transition process. Recall that, under IDEA, transition services must begin by age 14, but they may begin sooner based on individual needs. Students who may need decision-making support may begin as early as age 12. Rows 3 and 4 in the Florida algorithm outline specific program requirements and steps to take at specific ages. Address legal and financial considerations as part of the IHP, 504, or IEP. Include discussions on confidentiality, consent, decision-making capacity, and social service programs for adults. Like all transition plan areas, add age-appropriate items to the plan and gradually build toward the 18th birthday and beyond. Here are important items to discuss with students and families. At what age will you introduce decision-making or Social Security with students and families? How will you prepare parents and students for these changes? Take a moment to consider these questions. The presentation will automatically resume in 1 minute. If you are concerned about a student's decision-making capacity, then the first step is to try cultivating this skill. Use simple decisions, such as choosing the day's clothing, to assess the 3 key abilities, or as a springboard to progressively more complex decisions. Parents need accurate information to explore all options and make the best possible decision. Encourage parents to discuss these issues with their child and to the greatest extent possible. Some educators avoid discussions of decision-making capacity, assuming someone else will address it. Others add guardianship to IEPs automatically due to concerns for educational rights that students with intellectual disabilities will gain at age 18. Many educators raise the issue, but focus on the parents' concerns and fail to provide complete information about the long-term impact of removing the student's rights. For students with limited decision-making capacity, try less formal supports before there are legal responsibilities attached. Remind the student and family that practice is the key to success. Include steps for developing and maintaining such a network in the healthcare transition plan. Include goals to develop decision-making capacity around age 12. Begin testing informal supports by age 16. Remember, this capacity continues to emerge and becomes most prominent by age 17. If these attempts do not work out, make sure to document what was tried for how long, and if and how the outcome demonstrates lack of decision-making capacity. For those students who will need it, include guardianship steps as part of the healthcare transition process at age 17. This allows time for the family to find legal advice, gather documentation, and complete the process before the student's 18th birthday. Addressing legal and financial considerations in the IHP, IEP, or 504 plan is an important step in the transition to adulthood, but you don't have to go it alone. This is an area that naturally lends itself to partnering with the healthcare community. Centers for Independent Living, medical providers, care coordinators, and program-specific caseworkers are supports for you, as well as good referral sources for students. Before closing this module, we will review the resources for use in your school. The National Center for Supported Decision-Making is a key resource for any student who may lack capacity. Their toolkit offers information for educators, students, and caregivers with a focus on transition-aged youth. Disability Rights Florida offers many resources to educate students and families on guardianship and other legal considerations. The Department of Vocational Rehab website on Ticket to Work provides information on how to participate in the program, who is eligible, how to maintain Medicaid and Medicare coverage while using Ticket to Work, and a fact sheet on the program. Social Security's Plan for Achieving Self-Support program website gives information on benefits, how to participate, and eligibility. ssa.gov/disability-SSI provides the news and information on the program. Students can use the website to complete the application, check the status of their application, or manage their benefits. The Florida Developmental Disabilities Council provides a comprehensive guide to housing resources. The Florida Commission for the Transportation Disadvantaged has a goal to ensure the coordination of transportation of Florida's most vulnerable people. Their website provides resources for people with disabilities. When addressing legal and financial considerations, there is a wide range of supports and options for the student. Use the transition plan to complete specific requirements and start early. Follow the links to download or print copies of tools for financial services. Use the links from this course's toolkit to access the decision-making tools from this module. You can pause the presentation to take a break or automatically continue to the next module.